The small bird is on the lawn just after dusk, close to the garden edge where the grass stays damp and the shadows gather under the shrubs. It makes a thin, sharp sound, hops twice, then freezes. Its tail is short. Its wings look too new for the world. Through the kitchen window, the first thought comes fast. Something is wrong. A child points from the porch. Someone reaches for a towel. The bird looks alone, and alone often looks like abandoned. But there is one detail almost nobody notices at first. Above that patch of grass, in the oak tree, on the wooden fence, maybe deep inside the shrubs, the adult birds may already be watching. A robin parent can sit silent in dense leaves, holding food in its bill, waiting for the large figure to move away. A northern cardinal can stay hidden, giving only a tight alarm note. A blue jay may be higher up, loud enough to make the whole yard feel accused. The person sees a helpless little life. The birds see a giant body bending down, a hand reaching toward their young, and the controlled space around the fledgling suddenly changing. Good intentions do not translate clearly across species. Birds do not read kindness in the way people do. They read distance, speed, posture, shadows, hands, and whether the young bird is still where they left it. And the strangest part begins later, after the bird is picked up, when the yard that seemed quiet starts reacting as if something has crossed a line. A feathered young bird on the ground is not always a lost bird. In an American backyard, it may be exactly where its parents expect it to be. A young American robin can leave the nest before it flies well. A northern cardinal fledgling can sit low in the shrubs, clumsy and loud, while both parents move in and out with food. A black-capped chickadee may flutter from a low branch to the grass, then panic at the sight of open space. A house sparrow can look scruffy and confused beside a driveway, and a young mourning dove can sit so still that it seems too calm to be safe. This looks wrong to us because we imagine a young bird should stay in a nest until it is ready. But the nest is not a nursery until flight is perfect. It is often only the first room. After that comes the lawn, the hedge, the low branch, the space under the porch steps. This is the training ground. The bird learns short hops, balance, hiding, hunger, and the sound of its parents' calls. It may beg loudly. It may look unfinished. It may not escape when a person comes close. And here, many people make the same mistake. They confuse awkwardness with abandonment. From the porch, the fledgling seems alone. From the oak tree, the scene is different. The parent knows the patch of grass, knows the shrubs, knows the usual path of the neighborhood cat near the fence. The adult may be waiting for the yard to clear before coming down. What looks like neglect can be caution. What looks like silence can be a parent measuring danger. The moment a person steps onto the lawn, the story changes for the birds overhead. Shoes press into the grass. The shadow stretches across the small bird. A hand lowers slowly, maybe gently, maybe with care, but still it lowers from above. For the person, this is rescue. For the robin in the shrubs or the cardinal on the far branch, it can look like a predator move. Approach, bend, grab, carry away. Birds do not pause to ask whether the hand belongs to someone kind. In a yard, a hand and a claw can mean the same thing if the young bird disappears from the ground. That does not make the person cruel. It makes the signal confusing and frightening. The adult bird has spent hours mapping this little area. The fledgling was under the cover of weeds, near the fence line, within calling distance. Then a large creature entered and changed the position of the young bird. Maybe it moved the fledgling to a box. Maybe it carried it toward the porch. Maybe it brought it indoors because the bird seemed cold or frightened. And exactly here, the calm yard can turn into an alarm scene. A blue jay snaps out a harsh call from the oak. A robin flicks through the leaves, restless, unable to return while the person stands there. A crow on the roofline angles its head and watches the movement. This is the part we rarely see from the bird's side. The action may be soft, but the pattern is not. The young bird was touched, lifted, and taken. To the parents, the meaning is blunt. Danger reached the ground. At first, the sounds may seem like ordinary backyard noise. One sharp call, then another. Then the tree above the lawn seems to wake up. A robin calls from the shrubs. A chickadee darts in, stops, and vanishes. House sparrows chatter near the gutter. A blue jay scolds from an oak branch with its whole body leaning forward, as if the yard has become a courtroom. The small bird in the grass may go quiet, but the adults do not. Their calls spread. This is how one private mistake in a backyard becomes public information. Birds listen to each other more than people realize. A warning call does not stay inside one species. It can draw attention from birds that were not involved at all. A mourning dove may lift off from the fence. Cardinals may freeze in the shrubs. A crow on the roofline may stop preening and stare down at the person near the fledgling. To a human ear, it is only bird noise. To the yard, it says, "Watch this place. Watch that figure. Something unsafe is happening here." And then comes the detail that feels strange only because we usually miss the beginning. The feeder by the kitchen window goes empty. Not because the seed changed, not because the birds vanished for no reason. They are waiting. They have pulled back. Several small heads point toward the same part of the lawn. The whole space is measuring risk. A backyard can look peaceful from the porch and still be full of warning signals. The noise is not drama. It is a neighborhood alert system with feathers. Some birds watch in a way that feels almost too deliberate. An American crow on the roofline does not need to come close to change the mood of a yard. It can sit above the driveway, black against the evening sky, turning its head as the person walks back to the porch. A blue jay may follow along the fence, shouting from one post, then another. If there are ravens in the area, usually in more open or wilder places, they can show the same cold attention from a distance. Corvids, like crows, jays, ravens, and their relatives, are careful observers. They pay attention to faces, roots, repeated behavior, and places where danger has happened before. That does not mean every crow is planning revenge, and it does not mean every jay remembers every person forever. But some birds can connect a person's appearance with a threatening event, especially when young birds, nests, or feeding sites are involved. If a person has picked up a fledgling, leaned into dense shrubs, checked a nest too often, or walked the same path toward a vulnerable spot, the reaction later may change. The crow that once ignored the driveway may call when that person appears. The jay that used to visit the feeder may scold from the oak instead. There is one detail almost nobody notices. Birds do not need to understand your motive to adjust their behavior. They only need the pattern. Big figure near young bird. Hand reaches down. Young bird moves. Alarm follows. After that, the yard may remember through behavior, not as a grudge, as caution passed from one call to another. Even when no crow is involved, the ordinary birds around a home can become harder to approach after one frightening moment. A chickadee may not study your face like a crow, but it can learn that the kitchen door opening means movement near the feeder. A cardinal may stay deeper in the shrubs when footsteps cross the lawn at the same hour. A robin may choose the far side of the garden instead of the patch near the porch where its fledgling was handled. The change is small at first. The feeder still gets visits, but the birds leave earlier. The oak branch still has song in the morning, but it stops when the screen door clicks. The wooden fence still holds sparrows, but they lift off sooner, as if the air itself has tightened. This looks personal only because we are watching from a human angle. It is not insult, it is risk management. Birds live by tiny adjustments. A shadow too close, a cat slipping under the fence, a child running toward the lawn, a hand reaching into shrubs. These things get folded into memory. The backyard is no longer only a food place or a nesting place. It has a mark on it. And the strangest part begins after everything seems over. The fledgling may be back under cover. The person may have gone indoors. The porch light may come on. Still, the adult bird waits longer before returning. It lands on a farther branch. It watches the window. It feeds quickly, then leaves. Trust near a home is built through repetition. Calm mornings, predictable distance, no sudden grabbing. One broken pattern can make the whole yard more careful. There are moments when help is needed, but they rarely begin with panic. A feathered fledgling that hops, calls, grips with its feet, and stays near grass, shrubs, or low branches is often in the messy stage between nest and flight. The best help may be to step back, bring the dog inside, keep the cat away from the fence, and stop people from gathering around the bird. Watch from the porch or through the kitchen window. Give the parents room to return. They may not come down while a person stands close, even if the person is trying to help. But if the bird is clearly helpless, unfeathered, lying exposed on hot pavement, injured, unable to stand, or in direct danger in a driveway or walkway, guessing can make things worse. That is when the safer path is to contact a local wildlife rehabilitator, animal care center, or a trusted local wildlife authority. Do not turn the house into a bird nursery because the situation feels urgent. Young wild birds need the right care, and the wrong food or handling can harm them. This is where many kind people get trapped. They feel that doing more must mean helping more. Sometimes the first useful action is distance. Sometimes it is removing the danger around the bird, not removing the bird from its world. A robin parent hidden in dense shrubs may be waiting with food. A cardinal may be watching from a low branch. The scene can look abandoned only because the adult birds will not reveal themselves while the threat is standing over their young. A person can pick up a small bird with the cleanest intention and still become, in that moment, the thing the parents fear most. That is the hard part. The birds above the lawn do not see the worry in your face or the care in your hands. They see a body entering their controlled space, a young bird touched, a familiar spot disrupted. Around a home, birds notice more than we usually credit them for. They notice the porch door, the path through the grass, the feeder by the window, the cat near the wooden fence, the child running toward the shrubs, the person who bends down too close. They may not think like us, but they learn from risk. They adjust. They warn. They keep distance where they once came close. Trust in a backyard is slow work. It is made from days when nothing bad happens, when the feeder is left in peace, when the shrubs are not searched, when a fledgling is watched from far enough away for the parents to do their job. If you once picked up a young bird because you thought it was abandoned, that does not mean you meant harm. Blame does not help the next bird. Knowledge does. The next time a small feathered bird is on the lawn, pause before reaching down. Look at the branches. Listen for the sharp calls. Check for pets, traffic, heat, and direct danger. Then step back and give the hidden parents a chance to return. If this story changed the way you see your own yard, subscribe, leave a like, and press the bell so you do not miss the next quiet warning hiding in plain sight.